but immediately, the crowd knows something is wrong. The agitated bull runs into the arena wall, breaking its right horn.
And there must be a bolt of pain that goes through that bull's brain.
The injured bull is still looking for a way out of the ring.
And see, as Bucky jumps off his winning ride, the horse kicks him square in the head.
There's 12 to 1,400 pounds of animal that's going to exert all its energy that it can right towards you. And they know how to use and aim and focus that energy.
I remember that I screamed so loud.
Hey guys, it's Comrade Lavender here, and today we're going to be doing the pure evil, the bullfighting and rodeo industry files, capitalism, animal abuse, animal rights, true crime, etc., commodities. All my related YouTube videos of this animal abuse topic will be linked down in the description of this video down below, and also it'll be shown on the screen right now if you'd like to check them out. So let's get started into this deep dive anti-capitalism true crime video. The precise origins of bullfighting are difficult to trace, but the practice is known to have roots that go far back as 2000 BC. Bullfighting as we know it today began in the 18th century. As the sport became increasingly ingrained in Spanish culture, the role of the matador became regarded as an honorable profession and position. But there is no honor in animal abuse, there is no honor in capitalism. You know, bullfighting was such an integral part of Spanish culture that attending a bullfight was at one time seen as an expected part of visiting the country. In recent years, however, as the evilness of, this industry have been exposed, this capitalist industry, bullfighting has become less popular with the public. Between 2007 and 2018, before the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of bullfights held in Spain decreased by over 2,000, more than 50%. The sport has been outlawed in many countries as well across the world, but is still illegal in some countries including Spain, France, Ecuador, Mexico, and Portugal. Since the early 1500s, bullfighting has been a popular sport in Mexico, with children as young as 6 years old allowed to train towards participation. Many countries have banned the practice, including Canada, Cuba, Italy, Denmark, and the United Kingdom. Bullfighting laws vary across the United States, with all forms of the sport banned in some states, but exceptions still being made in others. In Florida, for example, all styles of bullfighting have been outlawed. In states such as Texas, however, bloodless bullfighting events can still be legally held. Considered by some cultures as Spain to be a work of art, the sport of bullfighting torments, abuses, attacks, and eventually kills the bulls slowly but surely. The practice is portrayed in many to be a fair fight between man and an animal, and the spectacle of skill and physical strength. In reality, though, the bull is subjected to immense physical pain, psychological stress, and partake in this heinous sport and show against their will. The events almost always end in their deaths. Bullfighting is a vile sport entertainment show responsible for taking the lives of 250,000 bulls every single year. There are different forms of bullfighting as well. The most prevalent form today is Spanish-style bullfighting. During one of these events, 6 fights take place. Each of these fights ends in the slow death of a bull before the event even begins. Each bull substantially grows weaker and weaker as he is subjected to physical and psychological animal abuse. Common practices including beating the bull, giving the animal tranquilizers and laxatives, and rubbing petroleum jelly onto his eyes to blur his vision, and having heavy weights hung around his neck. The aim of these practices is to disable the bull's physical strength so that the bullfighters are able to finish them off in the show in the arena. So yes, it's not a fair fight at all. This is not fair, and it is animal abuse point blank. Across the three main acts of the fight itself, the bull is tormented and repeatedly stabbed in the neck. The final act ends with the matador stabbing the bull between the shoulder blades with the aim of severing the bull's spinal cord. The paralyzed but potentially still conscious bull has his ears and tails cut off, and the victory is declared. The principal bullfighter, known as the matador, is the one responsible for killing the bull. Before he does this, his kolala, or more or less his team of assistants, attacks and torments the bull as well. There are two main roles within the kolala, known as the picadors and Bernlandlos. Each has their own part to play in weakening the bull before the final performance of the matador. The bull is tormented to encourage him to charge at one rider's horse, giving the other one the chance to spear the bull in his neck or shoulder. Finally, the matador enters, and the bullfighter responsible for murdering the bull will perform a series of dance-like movements with brightly colored cape. The matador aims to torment the bull, enticing him to charge at him so that the kill can be made. As dangerous as they can be, bulls are naturally prey animals. When they attack the bullfighter, they're not doing it so as a predator, but instead doing it as a prey animal who perceives them to be a danger and a threat to them. A bull charging at a matador's cape has been stressed and tormented to the point that they have no choice but to attempt to remove the stressful object from their environment. The bull is exhibiting an instinctive response to a highly stressful environment and situation, but not a desire to fight. In each stage of the event, the bull experiences intense fear and physical pain. They are also subjected to exhaustion, dehydration, and eventually a slow and painful death at the end of the day. In 2016, Victor Barrero became the first matador to be killed by a bull in over 30 years. The bullfighter died of punctured lung in Salvador after the bull's horn penetrated his chest. Prior to this, the last fighter to be killed in the ring was Jose Calaberto in 1985. Based on my research and scientific statistics and research studies, I have come to the conclusion that rodeo events are inherently just as abusive and inhumane as bullfighting, horse racing, auction houses, etc. The most cruel are the roping events and calf roping. Baby calves weighing less than 300 pounds are forced to run at speeds in excess of 25 miles per hour when they are roped. The reason they run at such high speeds is because they're being tortured in the holding chute. Their tails are twisted, their tails are rubbing back and forth on the steel bars of the chute. They are struck with electric prods until the gate opens. They burst out of the chute at top speeds and only to be stopped short, clotheslined with a choking rope around the neck. They are often injured and some are killed. These calves would still be with their mothers if they were not in the rodeo industry. In order for a calf roper to become efficient and an expert at roping, it takes a great deal of practicing. Baby calves sold to the practice of rodeo pins are roped over and over again until they are injured or killed. Dr. T.K. Hurdy, a veterinarian who is also a calf roper, was quoted in saying on Newsweek stating that calf roping is an expensive sport. He stated that 2 or 3 calves are injured in each practice session and have to be replaced. Dr. C.G. Haber, a veterinarian with 30 years of experience as a USDA meat inspector, says rodeo folks send their animals to the packing plant houses where I have seen cattle so extremely bruised that the only areas in which the skin was attached was the head, neck, legs, and belly. I've seen animals with 6 to 8 ribs broken from the spine and at times puncturing the lungs. I've seen as much as 2 or 3 gallons of free blood accumulated underneath the detached skin. A career USD meat inspection veterinarian Dr. Robert Frazier, Director of Slaughter Operations for FSIS USDA, stated on September 9, 1998, lots of rodeo animals went to the slaughterhouses. They found broken ribs, punctured lungs, hematomas, broken legs, severed tracheas, and broken necks. As with roping calves, tripping steers may be used over and over again in practice sessions. When they are crippled from the repeatedly abuse on their bodies, they are sent to the slaughterhouse. Same with racehorses when they stop earning catless pigs a profit. As with calf roping, steer tripping puts a rodeo animal at extreme health risks, injury, or death. Steers weighing approximately 700 pounds are forced to run at top speed while the roper throws a rope around the steer's horns. Within a split second, the steer's head and neck are jerked 180 degrees and more, causing the animal to become violently tripped, rolled, and dragged for approximately 30 feet. That's a 700-pound body being dragged by the neck with the horns digging into the dirt. Sometimes the horns fracture. The stress to the neck is enormous pressure. These steers are usually very thin, with sores on their backs and hips and all over their body. They appear to be depressed and living in misery under this capitalism society. They are so used to often that their injuries do not have a time to heal. They have constant injuries that never heal. Bull riding may appear less harmful as the bulls are so large. However, in order to enhance the bull's performance, cattle prods are often used to repeatedly shock the bulls as they stand trapped in the bucking chute. Bucking straps and spurs can cause the bull to buck beyond his capability, and his legs or back can be broken or snap. Eventually, when the bulls cease to provide a wild ride, they too are sent to the slaughterhouse. Bronco horse riding, both saddle and bareback, causes the death of many rodeo horses a year. It is common for horses in these events to crash blindly into the posts in the fencing surrounding the arena, into the holding fencing and chutes. Bucking horses must be spurred over the shoulders on each jump or buck the rider to qualify. The spurs can cause blunt force trauma to the shoulders, which again never have time to heal properly before the horse is ridden again and spurred in another rodeo event for profit. Horses and cattle have to be shipped from one rodeo to the next, often in double-deck trailers. These trailers are very dangerous because the horses often fight back during transport. The same type of fighting may occur when they are also shipped. One case in which a bucking horse suffered a badly broken front leg. Instead of humanely euthanizing the horse on the spot and the suffering animal, the rodeo people chose to ship her for extra buck, leg dangling across 2 states in a transport truck with other horses bound for slaughter. She died before she could be killed at the slaughterhouse. Capitalism's abuse of animals is not often considered when it comes to these animal industries, namely rodeos and bullfighting, horse racing, etc. Negative effect on the scientific, emotional, and moral development on children and young people. At these events, children are essentially being taught that animals don't have feelings, or that even if they do, it doesn't matter. Treating them in ways that are like a commodity, control, distress, or even harm them is not only perfectly acceptable but fun. And it is not only acceptable but applauded by adults. Simultaneously, it does not escape their perception that rodeo animals are often frightened, stressed, and in pain. It also does not escape their notice that these dominated animals are being used in ways that render them powerless for the purpose of entertainment. A large body of conductive research confirms that when children participate in or watch adults sanction cruelty to animals, an automatic process of desensitization occurs to protect them from the trauma of what they are witnessing. The ultimate effect is that of children's emotional and moral development is blunted by the repressing what would otherwise be a natural evolving sense of empathy, compassion, and caring for others. This developmental impairment is why, since the 1970s, the Humane Society of the United States has expressed serious concerns about the psychologically damaging effect of rodeos on children. Likewise, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals has issued a policy statement opposing children's rodeo events for this reason. Studies have also consistently demonstrated that children and young people learn cruel and callous behavior from those around them. Capitalism is a psychopathic system that puts profits over the lives of everything: animal lives, people lives, and Mother Earth's life herself. Capitalism creates psychopaths. Capitalism is misery. There is a strong link between the abuse of animals and violence towards other humans. Not only this, but mutton busting is evidence on the kids' faces along with the sheep's faces, and they aren't the only ones who are distressed. The sheep who are forced to do this against their will to be ridden are clearly frightened. I mean, they're herd animals, you know? They writhe and buck violently in an attempt to throw off the tiny trespassers off their backs. Injuries sustained by children who enter the mutton busting contest are varied and significant: fractures of the arms and legs, Head, neck, spinal cord injuries. Children might be dragged by the animal if the foot gets caught in a stirrup. They can be thrown to the ground violently and trampled once they land. Rodeo owner Mike ticks off his grandkids' injuries like top grades on a report card. The 13-year-old boy had a broken foot, elbow, and wrist, and a severe concussion to the head. And the 6-year-old girl busted an arm when the sheep she was riding slipped on some wet ground and flew into a fence. The University of Calgary researchers found that the catastrophic injuries or death toll at rodeos among all ages doubled in the last 3 years of a 20-year study. Youth rodeo attracts children as young as 4 who start out as sheep riding mutton busters before graduating to calves and mini bulls. Not only are they like hurting animals, but they're hurting children too.